Get out. We're about to
I don't know how this works.
just go to the Facebook.
I'm there, but there's nothing about this thing.
I can't help you.
Hello and welcome everyone to our Equality Florida virtual Tallahassee Gala. I am Mark Barr. I use he, him pronouns, and I am the development associate here. And with me tonight is statewide board member, rock star volunteer, and my good friend, Dana Farmer.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. I'm Dana. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm excited to be here tonight. The Tallahassee Gala has always been one of the highlights in our community. Even virtually, we come together to celebrate our award honorees' accomplishments. We also are here to thank our 2021 sponsors to make all of this possible.
And Dana, talking about making it all possible, living in the state's capital, it's difficult to not talk about session, and this year is no different. We have a huge team supporting our work right now at the Capitol. We're still 1 week away from the end of a very intense legislative session, but we have to share our thanks and many volunteers around the state who pitched in. We have local heroes like Dr. Paul Ahrens, who has been at every single committee meeting on the trans sports ban. He's been at our press conference and virtual lawmaker meetings. We have had volunteers like Michelle, who got on a Greyhound bus at 4 a.m. to come and testify in Tallahassee. Such an incredible level of commitment.
And Mark, we are also so very grateful to our equality captains throughout the state. These super volunteers have greatly grown our participation to the level the LGBT community has never had before the Florida legislature. These efforts have paid off because of the incredible engagement of coalition partners and with legislative champions like Representatives Carlos Guillermo-Smith, Michelle Rayner, Anna Escamani, Omari Hardy, and Senator Chevron Jones. We also thank our locals, Representative Allison Tant, Representative Ramon Alexander, and Senator Luann Osley. Without their persistence and without their fight, Florida would be in a very different place.
You know, tonight is a night of celebration, Dana, and I don't want to lose sight of that. But I know it's tough for a lot of us that we can't really fully celebrate because we feel like a victory today could easily be erased tomorrow. You know, in the session this year, we saw anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-Black, anti-women, and honestly, to me, just anti-American legislation. We will likely see a lot of these bills again, but we can't let up. They win if we disengage. But Equality Florida is committed to the fight, and I hope you will continue to support our work.
Thank you, Mark. You are so right. We also have another Tallahassee Steering Committee member, Deontay Gavin, who will introduce our MCs for tonight. It's over to you, Deontay.
Well, thank you, Mark and Anna. As a Tallahassee Steering Committee member, it is my distinct honor to introduce to you tonight's hosts, the fabulous Dan Taylor, a local artist and really a Tallahassee community cornerstone, as well as a fashion icon, and Equality Florida volunteer, rock star, the dynamic Cavante Ford, someone who I've had the privilege of knowing over the last several years. I know you guys will do well tonight, so let's get this show started.
Thank you, Deontay, and hello, Tallahassee. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. I am Cavante Ford, and I use they, them pronouns, and I'm a current volunteer as an equality captain with Equality Florida. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Cavante, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Just fine. Many thanks to Deontay for that great introduction and for all the work he does for Equality Florida here in our nation's capital. And thank you, everybody out there, for joining us tonight as we pay tribute to our 2021 honorees and thank our generous sponsors. So first, we'd like to thank our Tallahassee Steering Committee members. Those folks are the awesome Dana Farmer, Deontay Gavin, Lauren Kelly Manders, Dr. Ramiz Kassiri, John Harris Maurer, John Mills, S.K. Pepper, Scott Pickett, Brian Sewell, Tracy Tolbert, and last but not least, Adam Ware, and our host and honorary committees. It's a who's who of folks who are fighting the good fight here in Tallahassee. Thank you all for your hard work and support.
Seriously, thank you all so much. Without you, we would not be here today. And I'm super excited. My good friend Kenise is performing tonight her hit single, Wish You Well. And everyone, make sure you stay tuned to catch that at the end of this show. But first, I want to make sure everyone is aware of the AIDS Healthcare Foundation matching grant opportunity for all donations made to Equality Florida tonight. That's right. All donations tonight will be matched dollar for dollar by the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. You just need to make your donation through the Equality Florida AIDS Walk page, and the information is on the banner on the bottom of the screen and on the Tallahassee Gala event page at equalityflorida.org.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, Kivante, a dollar for dollar match. What a great opportunity to make your donation go further. And for everyone who donates tonight, they will all be entered into a drawing for Brunch and Bubbles at Jerry's Midtown Cafe right here in Tallahassee. Brunch and Bubbles for 10.
10 people?
Yes.
Oh man, can I make a donation and put it on this, please?
And Kivante, I don't know if you're familiar with the menu at Jerry's, but there's a sandwich called the Kev.
No way.
Yes, absolutely there is. And amongst other things, it has artichoke hearts on it. It's really delicious. But I love that it has artichoke hearts because it makes me think of you, who also has lots of heart, and it makes me happy.
Dan, you make me happy.
Oh, stop. So now we've got a video leading us to our featured speaker, Equality Florida co-founder and CEO, Nadine Smith.
The most important election of our lifetimes is now behind us. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, the most pro-LGBTQ ticket to ever seek the presidency, made history, securing more votes than any previous candidates and shattering the glass ceiling for women and people of color. This election cycle was a breakthrough for mobilizing LGBTQ voters and our allies in Florida. Equality Florida launched the largest, most ambitious voter mobilization campaign in our organization's history, investing more than $1.5 million to get out our vote. We expanded our field team and built an army of more than 400 hardworking volunteers. Together, we turned out more than 1 million pro-equality voters in Florida, and I'm especially proud that by the eve of Election Day, we had convinced 110,000 pro-equality voters who didn't vote in the 2016 election to cast an early ballot. Now, in a state where a U.S. senator was elected by a margin of fewer than 10,000 votes, and the governor's race was decided by less than 30,000, we know our community can decide the outcome of races up and down the ballot. Florida was also part of the national rainbow wave as 12 openly LGBTQ candidates won their elections. We celebrated historic victories. Florida Senator-elect Chevron Jones and Florida Representative-elect Michelle Rayner became Florida's first elected Black LGBTQ state legislators. But elections are never the finish line, and we can't take our foot off the gas now. We face deep challenges in Florida and nationwide. An avalanche of anti-LGBTQ judges now occupy lifetime appointments. Our nation is deeply divided and hate violence has spiked. But we see reasons for optimism too. Young voters whose attitudes are strongly supportive of equality doubled their turnout from just 4 years ago. And new polling shows that 70% of Americans, an all-time high, favor marriage equality, and 83% favor laws banning anti-LGBTQ discrimination. And we all must remain committed to the longer work of rebuilding America into a country that lives up to the words, with liberty and justice for all. With victory, we also see backlash. In this legislative session in Florida and in state houses across the country. Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. It's an honor to be with you as we celebrate our Voices for Equality awardees. You'll hear more about both of them shortly, but I would be remiss if I did not begin with a shout out to Barbara Devane, who was one of the first friendly faces to greet us when Equality Florida arrived in Tallahassee more than 2 decades ago. Not only did she extend her hospitality to us, she introduced us to the progressive groups that would become our strongest allies. And Cindy Wilker has been a powerhouse in Bay County. It fills me with pride and hope to see my hometown steadily become the kind of welcoming and inclusive place that I could hardly have imagined as a kid. It has been quite a wild ride in Tallahassee this year. Of course, legislative session is still upon us. It is rightfully called the 60 most dangerous days of the year. But before I update you on the latest twists and turns, I want to go back to the very beginning of this year and a huge victory that I want to make sure everyone fully understands. In the state of Florida, no matter where you live, you are protected from discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. Let me say it again. No matter where you live, you are protected from discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in employment, housing, and public accommodations. If you experience discrimination, you can seek justice under Florida civil rights laws, just like anybody else. Now, I underscore this because it can be hard to fully absorb that a goal we've been seeking for 20 plus years has finally been achieved. And that disbelief may make our community less likely to seek justice. So we will be doing a huge education campaign to help it sink in. I want to also underscore how we got here and why these protections are as solid as they are. Now, back in June of last year, the US Supreme Court issued a ruling in the matter of Bostock versus Clayton County, Georgia. The decision resolved separate cases, all involving the termination of an employee shortly after they revealed either their sexual orientation or their gender identity. So Gerald Bostock was fired for conduct unbecoming of an employee after he joined a gay softball league. And Amy Stevens revealed that she would live and work full-time as a woman to her employer and was fired for being transgender. Unfortunately, Amy died nearly 1 month before the highest court in the land ruled in her favor. And it was a strong ruling. In a 6-3 decision, Supreme Court justices made clear that sex discrimination equals gender identity and sexual orientation discrimination. Now, in some ways, the ruling was surprising, given the conservative packing of the court under Trump. But in other ways, it was the obvious conclusion, given victories secured by LGBT plaintiffs through the EEOC. The court relied on the outcome of legal cases that have slowly shifted the understanding of sex discrimination. People like Gerald and Amy brought their cases to the EEOC when there was little chance of winning, but each of those cases helped build the arguments that led to the Bostock decision. So the big question across the country after that ruling was, how would Bostock be implemented? Would states resist embracing it and make us continue to fight in the court to define the scope? Fortunately, in Florida, our work with the Florida Commission on Human Relations has paid off more than we could have imagined a year ago. And I want to give a big shout out to Commissioner Monica Sapero. She reached out to us early on and let us know she only wanted to join the commission if she could really make a difference. And right out of the gate, she did. She agreed to bring forward a proposal to the commission to fully embrace Bostock and apply the Supreme Court standard that sex discrimination equals gender identity and sexual orientation discrimination to every part of the state's civil rights law. She succeeded in passing that language, and today every person in Florida who has been discriminated against based on sexual orientation or gender identity in housing, employment, or public accommodation can file anywhere in the state just like anyone else. And we will be working with the Florida Commission to educate employers and the public on these clear protections statewide and how they can file complaints. Now, there is still work to do. At the federal level, we're working as part of a nationwide coalition pushing for passage of the Equality Act, which would actually expand civil rights protections nationwide. But I really want to make sure everyone understands what a huge victory this is that now protects everyone who lives, works, or visits our state. With victory, we also see backlash. And this legislative session in Florida and in state houses across the country, that backlash has been in full effect. The biggest threat this year has been a coordinated attack on trans youth, specifically a blanket ban that would abandon existing guidelines for trans athletes that have been working for years. And the bill would allow competitors to demand humiliating gender checks of other players. It was fast-tracked in the House and passed on the floor of the House in pretty much a party line vote. But something amazing happened on the way to passage. House Democrats, led by the LGBT and Black caucus, fought in a way that really changed the tenor in Tallahassee. If you haven't watched some of the powerful and emotional testimony by State Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith, State Rep Michelle Rayner Goolsby, the first queer Black woman elected in the state of Florida, or from allies like Omari Hardy and Ana Escamani, you have deprived yourself of a treat. Check them out on our Facebook page. They were part of a strategy where Democrats introduced 19 amendments designed to expose the harm and the hypocrisy of a bill introduced for one reason: to escalate the culture war by appealing to far-right extremism in time for the next election. But let me end with some good news. The bill has stalled in the Senate and the clock is running out. We believe it will die this year unless there are extraordinary maneuvers, but we will remain vigilant because the stakes are so high. And this is the horse trading time of year in Tallahassee where backroom deals get cut. If session is the 60 most dangerous days of the year, the final week is the most dangerous part of session. So barring extraordinary maneuvers, this bill will die because trans voices were heard, because the families of trans kids fought back, because allies linked arms and refused to back down. Equality Florida has invested deeply in mobilizing that opposition, amplifying those important voices, and letting legislators know they will be held accountable for their despicable votes. We also saw the importance of the business community and sports organizations. The Miami Heat became the first franchise to issue a statement opposing the legislation. The NCAA sent the message that Florida would be out of contention for NCAA events if the legislature passed this draconian law that flies in the face of their own values and guidelines. And I especially want to thank the Tallahassee community for showing up, for being at the ready on short notice to let them know we will gum up the works to stop them from fast-tracking bad legislation. John Harris, who is our phenomenal public policy director, has been able to work his magic because of the incredible network of talent and support he has in the Tallahassee team. Even though the bill will likely die this session, we expect to see this fight continue. Not only next session, but we are seeing our opposition is already starting to take the fight to individual school districts. Equality Florida, our allies, our grassroots team, we will be there to push back and to stand with trans kids every single time. And the good news is our efforts are working. We're blocking the bad legislation. And more importantly, we're seeing a shift in public opinion. Recent polling just last week shows that 2/3 of Americans now say they oppose these anti-trans bills being orchestrated nationwide by far-right think tanks. We know that changing hearts and minds is the path to long-term change in society. And we know the messages we honed in this fight are being amplified nationally and are shaping how people think about trans kids, not as a political football, but as real people directly harmed by these callous election maneuvers. The far right may miscalculate, just as they did on marriage equality. They came after us in 38 states, and the path looked bleak. But they ended up giving us a platform to tell our stories, our love stories, to tabulate the cost of unequal laws. They compelled people who never thought of themselves as activists to step up and to speak truth to power. And when the dust settled, we had secured marriage protections and the support of an overwhelming majority of Americans. It is so important that we lift our voices, that we stand firm even when victory is not assured. And I want to thank each of you for being part of Equality Florida. Our victories are only possible because you invest your time, your talent, and your treasure. And I hope you know that what we do here ripples out across the country. I'll leave you with one example that I hope fills you with pride, the way it does me. When word came down that there would be a runoff election in Georgia to decide the outcome of two Senate seats that could shift the balance of power in the U.S. Senate, we immediately reached out to our friends at Georgia Equality. We had just executed our own statewide voter mobilization campaign that had swept some of the worst anti-LGBT candidates out of office and secured victories for our champions, and we wanted to offer our colleagues any support they needed. I'll read the words of Jeff Graham as he described the importance of our help. He wrote, "When the runoff was announced, the first call I got came from Equality Florida. They shared their blueprint for voter turnout. They offered their volunteers and immediately enlisted their donors to support us. Most of all, they told us to dream bigger, and we did. We worked with coalitions of local leaders, rallied volunteers, and in just 8 weeks, we raised nearly $1 million. These resources allowed us to turn out over 850,000 pro-equality voters in the end." What we do in Florida ripples across the nation. Florida will always be a bellwether state. We are the third most populous state in the country and the 17th largest economy in the world. What we do here matters, and I am grateful every day that I get to work with an amazing and dedicated team of staff and volunteers. I am thrilled that we get to take a moment each year to acknowledge our Voice for Equality honorees. And I know nothing we have achieved would be possible if each of you did not share that vision of a state better than it was the day before, a welcoming and inclusive place for all of us to live, work, and visit. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Wow. Such powerful words.
Always amazing. Nadine, her staff, an army of volunteers have literally changed the course for LGBTQ plus folks in our state. What's that old saying, Kivante? A rising tide lifts all ships, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's an amazing thing about this this fight for equality, like Nadine was saying, that everyone benefits. And one other thing about Nadine, she spent most of her adult life fighting this fight. Equality Florida was founded in 1997, I believe, and we're approaching a 25-year anniversary. Anyway, Nadine is an amazing phenom and such a powerful speech as always. We're so happy to have her.
Yeah,
right here in Florida.
Last year, I had the opportunity when the world basically stopped. An opportunity arose for me to start to volunteer for Equality Florida as an equality captain. So, I hopped on that opportunity, and I had the pleasure of phone banking and getting the word out about Florida Senator Chevron Jones. So I wanted to thank Florida for electing its first openly gay, Black person to the Florida Senate. Chevron Jones represents people that look like me. He's paving the way for people like me. So I want to make sure that was noted as well.
Thanks, Kivante. That's awesome. I do want to make a quick reminder to everyone that the AIDS Healthcare Foundation dollar for dollar matching grant is going on right now. If you support Equality Florida, tonight your donation will be matched. Just make your donation through the Equality Florida AIDS Walk page, and information is at the bottom of the screen.
And Dan, don't forget about that brunch in Bubbles at Jerry's for 10 people.
So Kivante, I was thinking about that. 10 people is a lot. So whoever might win that, and if they can't come up with 10, maybe you and I could
join in.
Your way into that.
Can we call Jerry? Do you have her personal contact information?
I like brunch and I like Bubbles.
I like both as well. They also need to add a sandwich on there called the Dan.
All right, well, let's get to our first award, and it is the 2021 Ally for Equality Award, and it goes to, drum roll please, Barbara Devane. Barbara has spent half a century advocating for increased rights for multiple groups, including labor, race, women, and of course, LGBTQ+. A real force to be reckoned with. Here's Barbara.
Thank you so much. I am just so honored and humbled to receive Tallahassee Equality's Ally Award, because any of you who know me know that I'm not just a lobbyist, but I'm also an organizer and a coalition builder. And in this day and time, when we're being attacked from every side, every group I belong to, every issue I passionately believe in is being attacked. So we all need to get together and fight this evil, hateful bunch of people up here. And of course, you know, we're right in the middle of session, so I'm all fired up about hateful, evil people. Because just this week, I've been with your lobbyists, John Harris Mara, and other organizations in the coalition to fight for transgender rights, LGBTQ rights. And it's just been so heartwarming for someone like me who's been doing this. Well, I've been going into the Capitol for 49 years now, and I do look forward to not ever having to go back, although my friends and family laugh when I say that because they know that I have dedicated my life to the empowerment of women and workers and minorities, and now old people, retirees, because I am one. And the LGBTQ issues are at the top of my priority list as a lobbyist for Florida Now. The LGBTQ issues are high priority for Florida Now. And so that's why I see a lot of different groups fighting together just this week against those who would discriminate against any human being. So I thank you so much. And at times like this, you know, I'm reminded of other fights we've had together. And this is such a beautiful award. And I love the word ally. And that's why I feel so honored, but humbled, because you've got some really, really talented, committed people that are in the Capitol, out in the streets organizing, fighting against discrimination against LGBTQ individuals. I always remember on occasions like this, that famous speech that Frederick Douglass made, because he was fighting in the struggle against slavery. And he said, "The struggle never ends." And the last line of that speech is so memorable to me, and the work that we all do together as allies, where he said, "Power gives up nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will." So if we stick together in the struggle and demand our human rights, we will be the victor in the end. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Barbara. Talk about fighting the fight. I had the awesome opportunity of meeting Ms. Devane during an AFSCME meeting. That's the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. It's a labor union here in the state of Florida. And she is a true powerhouse through and through. And for lack of better words, one bad mamma jamma. So congratulations again, Barbara.
And, you know, Deontay was trying to say, I'm a fashion icon. Barbara's the fashion icon.
Oh, truly.
She's the one.
And our next award, the 2021 Community Partner Award, goes to the Tallahassee City Commission. In recognition of the commission passing the state's most inclusive and broad conversion therapy protections, and for scoring 100 on the Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equality Index, Mayor Daley.
My name is John Daly. I am the proud mayor of the great city of Tallahassee. Dan, Cavante, Equality Florida, I want to take this opportunity this evening to thank you for recognizing the great city of Tallahassee with the Community Partner Award. You're recognizing us for our 100 score on the Human Rights Campaign Municipal Equality Index. And as you know, my LGBTQ+ Advisory Council, one of the first in the state, is very focused on how we score on the MEI, because we all know it is a strong barometer for moving the capital city forward in creating an environment of equality and inclusion.
Creating a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive Tallahassee takes all of us, whether it's updating procurement policies or standing with our local businesses to declare that we are open to all. We are proud to be your partners in building our future. Thank you, Equality Florida.
As elected officials, it's our job to set the example for our community. So when Tallahassee asked us to step up and ban the harmful practice of conversion therapy, we listened. Thank you, Equality Florida.
It doesn't matter what you look like or who you love, you are welcomed and valued here in Tallahassee. Having an inclusive community is what makes me, Tallahassee, proud. Thank you, Equality Florida.
In an all-America city like Tallahassee, everyone should be able to envision themselves in positions of leadership. That's why I was proud to lead the effort to change our city charter to gender-neutral language. Thank you, Equality Florida.
In closing, once again, on behalf of the city of Tallahassee, thank you for honoring our community with the Community Partner Award. But more importantly, let me take a second to thank you for your actions and your leadership to make all of Florida, not just Tallahassee, a safe, healthy, and inclusive community for everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations to the Tallahassee City Commission. These folks they're choking me up, Kivante.
Oh yeah, big time.
So it's always good to see Mayor Daley and Commissioners Matlow, Williams, Cox, Richardson, and Porter. That's the entire City Commission, by the way. All of them are being honored with this award tonight, and it makes me, like Commissioner Porter said, Tallahassee proud. I'm terribly proud to live in this community. And I did want to give a special shout out because Commissioners Williams, Cox, Matlow, and Porter have in fact joined our broadcast. So hi, and thanks for joining us. And I just want to remind everyone of the AIDS Healthcare Foundation dollar for dollar matching grant. If you support Equality Florida tonight through the Equality Florida AIDS Walk page, your donation will be matched. If you prefer to send a check, there's information on the Tallahassee Gala event page. And I just want to give a quick shout out to a few folks who have donated. I see Andy Janicek, David Luke, Linda McNeil. Hey, Linda, Brandy Vance, Brooke Sperling, Kara Weaver, Tyler Clark. We're so grateful for your support because as far as equality has come in almost 25 years in its existence, huge strides. There is more fight to be fought. There are a lot more battles in this war, and Equality Florida can't do it without your support. So we're terribly grateful.
Thank you. Thank you all again. And if you want more information on volunteering with Equality Florida as an Equality Captain, be sure to head over to the Equality Florida website for more information on that. And Dan, any sponsor level donations given tonight will be counted towards the fall in-person event that Tallahassee is planning in next year's gala. So it really is a great opportunity to support local efforts here. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited for this in-person event.
An in-person event, I'm telling you, I'm thrilled to death to be able to get out and start mixing and mingling again. I've had both my vaccines, so I'm fully vaccinated now. So how about you, Kivante?
Say less, Dan. So for everyone out there, Dan and I haven't met yet, besides behind a camera. So I'm here for the in-person event. I'm also down for brunch at Jerry's tomorrow.
Okay. So we've got our final award coming up, and it is the 2021 Voice for Equality Award, and it goes to Cindy Wilker. She is the founder and president of the LGBTQ Center of Bay County, where she is an unwavering champion of our community. In a recent commentary for The Advocate magazine, she wrote, "Equality is not a Democrat or Republican value, it's an American value." It is my honor to introduce Cindy Wilker.
Thank you, Dan and Cavante, and thank you, Equality Florida. I'm being recognized with the Voice for Equality tonight. Voice for Equality. That has a nice ring to it. Equality. Soon we will get there. Soon equality will be in the rearview mirror. But until then, pursuing the brass ring of equality really isn't my job. Just like you, it's my life. We are traveling on a long, rocky road toward justice, with detours and dead ends, and occasionally we do run out of gas. But equality is within reach today. As living human beings, which most of us are, we are 99.9% genetically identical to each other. Our differences reside in 0.1% of our genetic material. Our divisions seem so small. The shape of our nose, the color of our skin, the texture of our hair, our size, our age. We have to look long and hard to divide humanity. We need social constructs for that. We need religion, our status, our politics, divisions that we have to invent and exacerbate in order to keep one another apart. One certainty we can count on: 100% of us are going to die. And I've been thinking about it. My road is getting shorter. I'm a 61-year-old lesbian living in the panhandle of Florida. Many mornings I wake up and think I'm already dead. And I proudly embody every stereotype of the angry lesbian. My natural habitat includes a clipboard, a whistle, several flannel shirts, cotton drawstring pants, and some Merce shoes. But what I would like before I die is one day. Just one day. One day when I have the same rights as everyone else. One day when my currency as a human being isn't discounted, isn't devalued. One day when I am not invisible. One day when I have the right to sit at any lunch counter I want to. And one day when I can be free of fear and free of shame. And one day, I want only one day of equality. That is my ask of you. Please give this old lesbian one day before I die. Because I know the purpose of life isn't to stay alive, but to find something to live for. And for all of us here tonight, our purpose is to be an agent of change, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experiences, to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that we have lived and lived well. As agents of change, there is no future ahead of us. Our future is inside of us. And together, we must unleash our collective futures and lead our lost nation home. This is our time to do what is right. And what is right is equality. Thank you, Nadine Smith. Thank you, Equality Flora. And please, don't forget about us.
Congratulations, Cindy. Sorry, that got me a little choked up there. The passion behind the speech that she gave was truly, truly amazing. And it reminded me of a situation that happened yesterday in Greensboro, North Carolina, with the Dr. Carrie Rosario, how she was blatantly dismissed by a commissioner on a zoning commission because she preferred to be called Dr. Carrie Rosario. Not only was his commissioner very dismissive toward her title and her preference of who she is and the credentials that she so rightfully earned, he was dismissive to all African American women out there in America. Needless to say, I too hope that one day we will no longer have people like that in the world. The Greensboro Zoning Commission did dismiss Tony Collins, and he's no longer serving on that zoning commission. So I too hope that one day we live in a world where everyone is valued just the same, no matter your skin tone, no matter your gender, or your pronouns, any of it. So it's so great to be made aware of these powerhouses fighting for the LGBTQ plus community. Thank you.
Cindy's amazing, Kivante. At once, incredibly emotional and passionate, of course, about her work, but funny. She's also funny.
Yeah.
She's a funny lady. But she talked about one day, one day, which can lead us to 2 days and 3 days. And everyone can rest assured that Equality Florida is working toward just that one day.
Yeah. And to anyone out there, dealing with bullying or dealing with depressive thoughts because you're not accepted by society, I don't know if you noticed in Cindy's video, but there was a sign next to her that said, "My existence is resistance." So as long as you're out there, you're waking up every day, you're putting one foot in front of the other, knowing that you're doing what you need to do to be represented in today's society.
Yep.
And now, prepare to have your wig snatched by my best friend, childhood best friend from middle school, King Kanice. She is coming here to snatch wigs and take hostages and hold people as prisoners. My friend and musical artist, Kanice.
Pleasure to be here tonight. Tonight I'll be performing "Wish You Well." Is my new single and is out on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, every platform. I really hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. You see, the problem is you think that I'm in love, but baby, you're out of love. And you see, the problem is you think you're hurting me by walking away, but trust me, I'll be okay. You see, it's 3 tears in a bucket. Forget it, my hurting has faded into numbness. Don't care, ain't got no conscience. You see, you've taken all my time and wasted. I'm all out of patience for your mess. You don't get it. You know it's plain to see the love between you and me is faded to a distant shore, a resident here no more. And I ain't even mad. The feelings that I have for you have passed. Scream till our voices hoarse. No need for pain anymore. Baby, I wish you well. Baby, I wish you well. I wish you well. You say you wanna know, demanding answers of when this love went away. But baby, I just can't tell. Now here you go, starting mess, trying to get reactions out of me, when really you should just leave. You see, it's 3 tears in a bucket. Forget it, my hurting has faded into numbness. Don't care, ain't got no conscience. You see, you've taken all my time and wasted. I'm all out of patience for your mess, and you don't get it. You know it's plain to see the love between you and me is faded to a distant shore, resident here no more. And I ain't even mad. The feelings that I have for you have passed. Scream till our voices hoarse. No need for pain anymore. Baby, I wish you well. Baby, yeah, I wish you well. I wish you well. Kenise, and I really hope that you enjoyed the song. Thank you so much for having me, and you guys have a good night. Thank you.
What? I didn't put her on for nothing. Let's two fly. Everyone, make sure you go stream Wish You Well. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. Please go support Kenise. She can be found on Instagram, King Kenise, KINGKANISE, and on YouTube, Kenise.
Amazing performance, Kenise. Thank you so much. So we need to give a couple shout outs here, Kivante, to some more folks who are helping us fight the fight.
Yes.
My friend Jose, Joe Baker, our great ally of ours, Julian Weaver. We're so grateful for your help. And a note that the Brunch and Bubbles drawing will be at 9 p.m. So there's still plenty of time to get your donation in. So you'll get a chance to win Brunch and Bubbles. And as we mentioned before, the Tallahassee Steering Committee is planning an exciting fall in-person event, and you will hear more about that soon. I hope we get to see all of you there, everybody out in Facebook and
I'll
YouTube
be there.
And good.
I might just wear this fur.
It's pretty amazing, actually.
Thank you. Should I do a spin for the girls?
Absolutely. Nice. Very nice. This has been a great evening. We met Mark Barr, and I think most everybody around here knows Mark Barr. Sadly, he is leaving us to take over the Broward County development duties. We are so grateful for his work locally. We'll miss him tremendously and wish him absolutely well in all his future endeavors, both he and Scott, as they head south.
Yes.
So a full-time North Florida position is open. So if you're interested, you can see the job posting on eqfl.org. Big shoes to fill, but somebody out there can do it.
I believe so too.
Yeah. And last but not least, here are the sponsors that made all of this possible. Thank you for your support.
Thank you all for supporting the work of Equality Florida. We cannot do it without you.
Thanks, everybody.
And that concludes our show.
Such fun. It's great to be with you, Kivante.
Good night, Tallahassee. Stay safe, everyone. We look forward to seeing you in person this fall.
Thank you, and good night.